I think the mainstream culture now has like female DJs, they're not even DJs, they just play because they look good.
Getting into the music industry, like it's a fact that it just is sexist.
Definitely little things like being kind of subtly groped behind the decks. You know, if I could tell my younger self that that was what it was like, I'd probably be shocked.
The music industry is a big part of UK culture, but it is heavily male dominated. We went from Peckham to Shoreditch to Brighton, searching for DJs to speak on the gender imbalance of the UK's music industry.
You know, comments like, oh, we need another female DJ for this lineup.
Yeah,
do you want to do
that's
it?
a big one.
You know?
People being like, oh, we need to diversify our roster.
What are the struggles that women in the industry have to fight? We take it to Shoreditch, London, to find out what partygoers think. Do women in the industry really have it harder?
If a woman is a DJ, whether we know her name or not, she most likely works twice as hard as any man to get to where she is. So
I went to a recent gig and there were female DJs there, and I must say their tracks were better than the guys.
Just when we think there's no problem and everyone seems to be conscious of the struggles, we ask this guy who his favourite DJ is.
I would say probably Tini, yeah.
And why is that?
She plays good music, not because she's hot. I think the mainstream culture now has like female DJs, they're not even DJs, they just play because they look good or they can show something.
Hot and no talent. That's what women in the industry hear time and time again. One of them is Jess, a drum and bass DJ from Brighton that's just starting out.
So, I can't remember how old I was, I think maybe about 12. We went to a wedding, and one of our older friends was mixing drum and bass, and it was the first time I'd ever seen people around our age like dancing properly to it. I kind of like craved that, like being able to play out to people was just such a good feeling. DJing scared me for a long time, and I decided to like put on my own event because there was no way I was going to get booked, you know, having had no experience. So I thought if I put my own event on, then I could play at my own event. So I did an all-female drum and bass night. A few friends came playing, a couple new girls. And yeah, it was great. I mean, not many people showed up, but it doesn't matter. It's like you are a little fish in a big sea in Bristol, but in Brighton, the scene is very small. You know, there's the Concord and the Volks. Occasionally Arch will put one on, but it's very small community of people. And it probably won't take you that long to climb to the top, you know. But in Bristol, it's like everyone and their mum is trying to get there, and it's just so hard. One of my favourite sets that I did recently was actually with my boyfriend. It was a back-to-back, and we both did drum and bass, and it was a very last-minute set. And it was just a really nice dynamic, and it was almost a chance to like prove that there's no difference between the girls and boys, you know.
So Jess and many other women in the industry are fed up that their gender is part of their job title. They're routinely called female DJs.
You know, if I could tell my younger self that that was what it was like, I'd probably be shocked, you know, because it's like I never wanted that. I never wanted to be known as that.
Yeah.
And I was never really specifically inspired by just female DJs. It was just all DJs, because I didn't see them as being any different.
Jess's genre is drum and bass, but the industry doesn't seem to care, so long as they have their token girls in the lineup.
What I will say is I've definitely noticed promoters putting girls together just because they are girls. And I understand why you would do that, but when they come from two totally different subgenres, it doesn't really make too much sense, and it's very obvious that you've done that.
And this objectification has its side effects.
I did have one experience when I was about to play at Lakota, and the bouncer came on stage and asked all the girls to leave. There were a few dancing, and I said, "Oh, I'm playing a set," and he was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I won't name his name, but quite a big DJ then looked at me and said, "Oh, you can stay on, honey." If I'm like trying to figure out what to wear to a set. Sometimes I don't really know because I don't want people to kind of look at me and think, oh, she's trying to look sexy for a set. But so if I figure out, like, it's fine.
South East London-born Luma couldn't agree more.
I think people chipping away at you, making you feel like you don't have the skills or the confidence or know the right people to be able to do it. Men would always be like, oh, do you want me to set stuff up for you? Sometimes try and jump on the decks as well, like while I was DJing, being like, oh, like, let me do something. Like, mate, like, I can sort out my own equipment. I know how to fucking plug a USB in. Like, I'm sweet. Like, I'm good. You don't need to help me.
With Iraqi heritage, Luma focuses on female sounds from the Arab world and is a resident DJ at multiple radio stations.
Like, the industry is a bit of a boys' club. Like, it's changed a lot in the past, like, 5 to 10 years. But I just think, like, connections. Like, I know a lot of guys that run nights, that are promoters, and will just, like, get all their mates in, get all their, like, male mates in to play, and won't even have a second thought if there's no, like, woman on the lineup. Like, I feel uncomfortable if I'm booked to play on something and I'm the only woman playing. And in some situations, I might say no if it doesn't feel right, if it feels tokenistic. In other situations, I'll play because, I think one woman is better than none, but it depends. You can get the vibe of what someone's trying to do. Like, I felt like I was in a very male-dominated kind of environment, but someone who offered me an opportunity in music. It was an interview and a mix with a very well-known music publication, and I kind of sensed that they fancied me. And when I made it very clear I wasn't interested, that offer just completely went off the cards. Messaged them a few times about it, just didn't message me back, like said it had already been done.
Going around the world, all the female DJs we have spoken to have encountered and/or experienced discrimination and violence, solely because of their gender. Marusha, a world-renowned German DJ, has opened up to us about one of her most traumatic experiences.
Also es gab natürlich Situationen in meinem Leben, die auch schräg waren und strange. Es waren nicht sehr viele, aber die merkt man sich natürlich besonders lange. Das war tatsächlich nicht in Mexiko, es war in LA, in Downtown LA habe ich auf einer Party gespielt. Also erstmal, als ich ankam bei der Party, gab's Drive-by-Shooting außen und ich habe gerade meine Platten durchsortiert und der Veranstalter hat sich auf mich draufgeschmissen, damit ich nicht erschossen werde. Also das war schon der Einstieg von der Party. Und als ich dann reingegangen bin, das war wirklich im tiefsten Downtown LA, waren dann nur Typen, alle so Mexikaner, würde ich sagen, mexikanisch, Englisch, also Mexican English people. Und sahen alle so ein bisschen Hip-Hop-mäßig aus mit diesen Baggy Jeans und so. Und es hat keiner getanzt. Also der Club war klein. Ich schätze mal, der war ramped-packed mit 200 Leuten. Ich stand in der Mitte des Raums, habe aufgelegt am DJ-Pult und die standen wirklich alle um mich herum und haben ganz böse geguckt. Das hat keiner getanzt und ganz böse geguckt mit Händen in der Tasche. Und ich habe aber damals mir gedacht, okay, das ist alles relativ spooky, aber was gerade draußen passiert ist vor der Tür, war noch spookier. Also das ist kind of a nightmare right now. Hab dann aber das versucht zu trennen. Also ich habe dann aufgelegt und hab versucht einfach coole Platten zu spielen und die Leute standen halt drumherum, aber sie haben mich jetzt nicht komisch angeredet oder angerempelt. Die waren eigentlich im Grunde wie so eine Mauer um mich herum mit bösen Blicken. Aber ich glaube, durch mein positives Naturell und eben, dass ich so dagegen gehalten habe mit der Musik, die ich auch sehr liebe, konnte ich da wie so einen unsichtbaren Schutzwall aufbauen. Und es war schon echt ein schräger Abend, muss ich sagen.
Aber glaubst du, das war aus dem Grund, weil du eine Frau bist oder generell böse Blicke aus einem anderen Grund?
Ich glaube, was es genau war, weiß ich nicht. Aber ich glaube schon, dass das ein sehr alpha-gesteuertes Verhalten war und eben weil da waren fast nur Typen. Also ich kann mich, wenn ich jetzt zurück mich erinnern möchte, ich kann mich an keine Frau erinnern so wirklich. Bestimmt war da eine Handvoll, aber es waren eigentlich wirklich nur Typen mit finsteren Gesichtern und finsteren Blicken. Aber ich glaube irgendwie, dadurch, dass ich so selbstbewusst das durchgezogen habe, hatten die am Ende schon Respekt. Also, ich weiß, ich aufgehört hatte, war dann schon so irgendwie, dass die dann so standen und dann so give me five, so, was sich so rauspressen konnten.
It's clear that across all generations, female DJs share similar experiences. So, back in London, we went to Peckham to visit Foundation FM, a female-made radio station.
So myself and Anaya are producers here. Moira does more social media and programming. So people come to us. We have a roster of presenters, DJs that have monthly, weekly, bi-monthly residencies. We're always on the lookout for new talent. We're all about piloting new talent. Whatever people come to us, if they want to get involved in radio, we're always open to new ideas. Part of being a producer is, getting together little demos, sitting down with the presenters and talking about their ideas and how we can help them, achieve these dreams. And we're all about training up presenters as well in the studios. So being a female-led station, it's really important that we know how to do the technical side of things as well. We're all about growing that side, so we do a lot of that.
I would say it's a very dialectic process. We like to be in collaboration almost with our hosts. Obviously it's their idea and it's their vision, and we're here to really support them on that and to help out wherever we can, whether that's show plans, whether it's booking guests in, coming up with new segments for the shows. Our role, I really see it as helping them to build something and helping them to achieve their vision in the most collaborative sense.
Yeah, we're always saying it's your show though. First and foremost, it's your ideas, and we're just here to help that.
Yeah. In a male-dominated industry, being a solely female-led platform can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention.
I think we definitely face that kind of resistance when we start looking externally, when we start having discussions with maybe other platforms, individuals, organizations who kind of make a judgment because we're female-led and because we're female-made and because we like to platform that. I feel like people definitely make an assumption based on just that language. So we definitely encounter a lot of resistance.
And when it's not resistance, they are being contacted for all the wrong reasons.
Comments oh, we need another female DJ for this lineup.
Yeah,
do you want to do
that's
it?
a big one. People being oh, we need to diversify our roster.
So it's oh, so we're just a token then.
Yeah, I think
those types of things.
That happens a lot still.
So Foundation wants to put a stop to an industry that wants women for everything but their core talent. They want to put the focus back into the music.
The Foundation's existence does shape the industry because of what it stands for and because of the space it's creating, but we never want to censor any of our hosts. We never want to tell them what they can and cannot put out there, or what they can and can't do with their shows. I feel like that's really quite a central thing for us. Is we're not trying to shape you in any way. This is your space.
UK Music reported the proportion of women working in the music industry has now reached a record high of 49%. So you have to wonder why half of the industry still face discrimination. There's a lot of work to be done, and hopefully we've been able to shed some light on the realities of the industry through telling their stories, and so inspiring a new generation of women in music.